She's so small and I'm quite a large person. By the time I was born, Anje became my nanny. And she's kind of like my third grandmother, the secondary kind of family member. She was definitely the main caregiver when I was small. If something's happened that I'm really upset, quite often I would kind of go to her room to find comfort, to go for a hug. My name's Kurt Tong. I was born in Hong Kong in 1977. And her full name is Mat Han Yuk. She thinks she's born in 1929, and she's one of the youngest self-con women left in the world. Very much the last generation of self-con women. When she told me the story, I really wanted to turn that into an artwork. She came to Hong Kong when she was 21, and she ended up staying with the first family for 13 years. And she ended up working with us for 37 years. My parents had 4 children, and I'm the 4th one. I was the only baby that she looked after, so maybe there was like a special bond. I like to use a lot of old archival photographs, but always kind of archival from my family. And I just want to kind of recontextualize them and find different meanings in them. So naturally, when I started this project, the first port of call is I wanted to see if she has any photographs of herself. She looked through her whole house and she managed to find only 8 photographs, and they were all passport photographs for her documentations, for her forms. And I went through my mother's photo albums again, looking out really for pictures of Anje. There were so many pictures of her, but they weren't taken of her. So you find with the first half the pictures where she accidentally appeared, especially in the 70s and 80s, a lot of the photographs were taken at birthday parties or the Mid-Autumn festivals because she was always there to look after us. But I guess because she wasn't part of the family member, she was always told to, oh, can you just step out of the frame? Or she just happened to be walking past. Right, you can just catch her right on the edge of the photographs or with the back to us walking away. But as Ree got older, she definitely became part of the family. My parents actually had 9 cats. After we all left, I think she became the nanny for the 9 cats. So she was born in a very poor family. She was the firstborn daughter, but her mother died when she was just a baby. And by the time she was about 19, 20, the parents started to think maybe she should get married. And it was then that she decided she didn't want to get married. She wanted to be alone. She wanted to work for herself. She wanted to be a self-con woman. Self-con women came from southern parts of China. It was in the 18th century, and a lot of women wanted more independence from the men. They started wearing their hair in a certain way, usually in a long plait. They were dressed in a certain way, usually in a very light-colored tunic. So a lot of them actually moved away from China and became domestic servants in Hong Kong and Southeast Asia. By the time she was in the early 70s, she would help out around the house. She would go to the market every day to buy the food for lunch and dinner. One day she nearly fainted walking up the hill, but I think she just knew it got to the age now she couldn't be carrying food for 5, 6 people. She was 77 years old when she officially retired. I asked her if she has any regrets in life. She always said, no, it's always, I regret not being able to read and write. It was never regret about not getting married, not having a family. So there were kind of stories of 2 men approaching her, saying, oh, we should get married. And Anje just thought, I'm not that stupid. Or no one wanted me because I looked like a piece of bread with 5 holes on it. So she now lives in a single old people's government home. She's happily living alone, I think, and she likes being alone so she can eat when she wants and sleep when she wants. I photograph everything she owns. She's as simple as in kind of she doesn't need material things. I used to buy things for her and she would take it back to the shop and give me back the money. She owned about 12 different tops and the newest one is about 30 years old. But she was saving all the money for her families. So she never spent anything for herself. In the 50s, she bought a lot of food and kind of essentials back. Because back then she wasn't allowed to bring rice through the border. Every month she would go and collect the burnt rice in different restaurants. She would make huge cloth bags and carry the 4 bags across the border. Two years ago she got sick. She was diagnosed with very, very early stage of lung cancer, and it's completely clear now. She's very healthy. There were people queuing up to take her to hospital. The little girl that she looked after, who's now in her 60s. Me and my sisters, my parents would go. Her nephew would come. So even though kind of day to day she may be alone, so she lives by herself, but she has a lot of people that's kind of really care for her. It's a pair of jade earrings, and it was actually given to her by her previous employers. That's probably the only luxury item that she has, and she's never stopped wearing them.